The time has come to tell you about the day I came out of the closet. No, it wasn't that sort of closet, Mr. Cleverdick in Penge. I didn't spend many pointless hours in a wardrobe waiting to leap out while my mother was passing with a tea tray yelling, "Yabu sucks, I'm a homo!" No, that would be very silly. The closet is an emotionally repressed place where people like me of a certain bent, and in my case very, very bent, live until we reveal our true natures to the world. What happened was this. I was in Ibiza with Cleese writing a film script when I had a sudden urge to follow a rather good-looking young man back to his tent. "Hello," I said. "Hello," he said. "Do you mind if I smoke my pipe?" I said. "Provided you do it naked," he said. And that was that. I fell madly and permanently in love. I broke it to the others at a social event, wherein were gathered my friends from St. Bart's, taking time off from culling the public, the Python team, and Barry Cryer. You know I'm prone to snog complete Finnish strangers called Olaf whilst in my cups. Well, that's because I'm what is known in many technically accurate textbooks as homosexual. Cleese was speechless. This was a first. It took me a long time to be comfortable with who I was. But I got there. It's all about getting there, isn't it? But back to the story.
It's not going to happen, my good man.
But it's poorly.
This budgerigar is not poorly. It's in the pink, full of vim and vigour, downright perky, hunky-dory, in tip-top condition, filled with the joys of spring. If it were Irish, it'd be on top of the morning. It's 100% A1, feeling groovy. To conclude, it's the fittest budgerigar east of Java, north of the equator and south of the Tika.
Go on, let me buy it back.
Why'd you want it back?
I miss him. Well, he's my common law wife.
Common law wife?
We would have gotten married, but those bigoted swine in the Anglican Church wouldn't let us have the religious ceremony. They say it's in the Bible. Man shall not lay down with budgerigar and be fruitful.
Then why'd you sell him to me not half an hour ago?
We had a row about his crackers. He said some pretty hurtful things in Hindustani, and I responded with some unsavoury comments in Latin. But it was in the heat of the moment. We're in love.
This budgie doesn't know you from Adam.
Yeah, he does. Look, he just blew me a kiss.
No, he didn't.
Well, he winked.
You liar.
Pouted then.
Budgerigars do not pout. How can you pout with a beak?
When you're in love, anything's possible.
Wait a minute. How is doing a pastiche of their most famous sketch progressing the story of the Monty Python team?
It's reverential.
Now, reverential is all very well, but we've been here before, haven't we? They're right what they say. Repetition is the mother of desperation.
Who says that then?
Whoever said it first.
But you said they like you knew them.
I don't know everyone called they. That would be an infinite number of people.
But by the very suggestion, they say, would be the inference that you actually knew who they were.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would.
Now you're playing devil's advocate just to take up a contrary position.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm making a perfectly valid point about the absurd conversational overuse of the expression they.
This is ridiculous. This is supposed to be a parody of the parrot sketch.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
It is.
On the contrary.
I can prove it.
No, you can't.
What am I doing with this budgerigar, then?
You might have secreted that budgerigar specifically in that cage with malice aforethought, merely to win the right at a precise conversational moment to utter they say whenever the occasion demands it, without the intellectual validity of its actual usage.
Say that again.
I would if I could, but I can't.
Have you seen Graham's article?
Yep. He was as good as telling us we're arseholes.
He was drunk again. David rang to apologise for him.
He can't keep getting his boyfriend to apologise for him all the time.
We've got to discuss casting Brian at some point.
Wait till Graham gets here, Mike.
He'll be hours late. He always is.
He let us down really badly on tour. Me and John were always covering for him on stage, and he was sozzled constantly on Holy Grail.
He is a great straight man, Eric.
But will he be sober enough to be straight through shooting? I could play Brian.
And lose all your characters? That would be madness.
Well, someone has to play Brian.
Starting without me again?
Always.
Didn't David call to say he'd be late?
You really should stop getting David to cover for your boozing all the time.
All the time? I don't drink all the time. Most of the time.
We need to talk to you about who's playing Brian.
I'm playing Brian. It's all agreed. Aren't I, chaps? Chaps?
And when day carp was a drunken fart, I drink, therefore I am.
Are you the doctor?
Dr. Quack, yes.
Quack?
Quack by name, quack by nature. I'm filling in for Dr. Charlatan. He took over from Dr. Malpractice after the incident with the coat hanger and the aardvark.
I need to see a doctor, Doctor.
Oh, I know this one. This is where you say, Doctor, Doctor. I feel like a pair of curtains. And I say, pull yourself together. Get it? Pull yourself together.
No, I'm here about my alcoholism. You are a psychiatrist?
That's what it says on the diploma on the wall. Well, I think it does. It's written in Latin. I don't speak dead languages, only Etruscan, and that's because of the wife. She's from Hull.
I want to stop drinking, Doctor.
How much are you drinking?
2 bottles of gin.
A week? That's not very much.
A day. And a glass of wine with meals.
How many meals a day?
27. I'm a comic actor, and I was drunk all through the making of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. They had to shoot around me. I want to learn to love myself again, Doctor, and stop being ashamed of my behaviour. Can you help?
For a considerable fee, I'm your man. Not sexually, but that's negotiable. Actually, I saw Holy Grail. I don't want to get Freudian, but the Middle Ages were a sensual age. Where were the norks? The melons? The boobies?
Can we stop talking about mammary glands and get back to my drink problem, please?
Problem schmoblem! I've said it before and I'll say it again. Pull yourself together.
What am I, curtains? But seriously, what should I do, Doctor?
That's down to you, me old China.
And rainy day carves a drunken fart, I drink, therefore I am.
The idea for Life of Brian came when we were promoting Holy Grail in Europe. Eric said that the next movie should be called Jesus Christ Lust for Glory. This made us all fall about, and we dutifully went off to research biblical history. It became pretty clear right away that a mocking of Christ was not on. How are you going to mock someone you agree with wholeheartedly? So the idea was to have the story of a guy who was around at the same time as Jesus, who was mistaken for a miracle worker. We were actually mocking left-wing guerrilla organizations, trade unions, followers of false religious cults, and zealots everywhere. We were certainly not doing Jesus down. Unfortunately, EMI thought otherwise. They were with us all the way to finance the film, until they actually read the script.
Hold my calls, Gladys. Where was I? Oh, yes. Telling you to go away.
But EMI said they wanted to finance our next movie.
That was before we saw what you'd written.
Well, what's wrong with it?
What's right with it? You've done something remarkable. You've managed to offend Christians, Jews, and Muslims all at the same time.
No, we haven't.
On the contrary, you've achieved something no one else has done in 2,000 years of religious conflict. You brought all the major religions together. They've all got the hump.
I thought you were keen to give us artistic freedom.
Not this much artistic freedom.
There should be no limit to artistic freedom.
There is, if it costs me money.
Now, why won't you make money?
Who'd come and see it? Say for deranged atheists, the general public will stay away in droves.
You underestimate the intelligence of the general public.
I didn't get where I am today by overestimating the intelligence of the public. Can't you just go back to being wacky about the Middle Ages?
We've done that. We're moving on.
So am I. The door is the wooden bit in the wall. Use it and never darken my carpets again.
Frankly, I'm very disappointed with the EMI.
We've just lost a fortune on the Sex Pistols. They vomited and swore all over this office. Whatever happened to professionalism? You'd never catch Tony Bennett acting like that. He vomits and swears in the privacy of his own home.
You can't go back on your word.
I can, I have, and I will. To paraphrase the Bible, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was no. Now, excuse me, I'm late for my weekly arm wrestle with Sir Lou Grade. You can leave.
So, what'll we do now?
Hang about. I've got an idea.
Eric, why are you talking like that?
I was doing me Michael Caine.
Now's not the time for pointless impressions.
George. We can go to George.
George who?
The George.
What, the pub?
No, the Beetle.
It's looking good, it's looking good, it's looking good, it's looking good, it's looking good.
Liverpool. City of dreams and the nasally challenge. But from this most unfabulous of cities came the fabulous four.
The Beatles. John, Paul, George, and thingy, who between 1962 and 1970 came to rule the world, overcoming poverty and wildly uncontrollable dandruff.
But what does a mop-top beetle do when the dream is over and the nits have flown?
In George Harrison's case, it was producing The Life of Brian, starring as Brian in the comic role of a lifetime, Kirk Douglas.
Graham, we need to talk.
What's this, a group meeting?
Yes, Gray, it is.
Where are the two Terrys?
Talking to George.
What's going on?
We've decided. About Brian.
My role?
Well,
You're taking the part away from me, aren't you?
it has been mooted.
Can you blame us if we did? You were always off your face on the last tour.
I know I get carried away.
It's such a big move for us. Grail was a cult hit. You know how good this script is.
But I always assumed I'd be playing Brian.
Well, so did we, but
Please don't take the part away from me.
The thing is...
It's what I live for, Python. It's my whole life. I'm nothing without the Python.
we know.
You do?
That's why we're sticking with you.
I'm doing it.
But you've got to promise us you'll try, Gray.
With the grog, we can't carry you forever.
The Terrys are squaring it with George.
On the condition you do try.
You do all this for me?
Of course.
Yeah.
Why?
You're our friend. Why else?
I won't let you down. I'll straighten out. I'll go cold turkey.
Actually, you have said that to us before.
There's a difference this time.
But what's that?
I mean it.
Really, Gray?
Yes. Dear God, I actually mean it. There are several reasons I gave up drinking. Brewer's Droop was not one of them, cheeky. Most of my drinking cronies, frankly, just weren't up to it anymore. In Keith Moon's case, it was because he was dead, the lightweight. But the main reason I gave up is the faith the other Pythons showed in me. I gave up immediately. Had the tremors, the shakes, the DTs, the lot. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. There was the sobbing, weeping and begging God to kill me to lighten the mood. But I finally dried out. Cleese said I went from sinner to saint in the blink of an eye. So much so, I became doctor to the cast in Tunisia during filming. If you can conquer your demons, you can conquer the world. Unfortunately, after several happy, healthy and serene years, life played a cruel trick on me. The Grim Reaper came calling. Well, he wasn't that grim, actually. Dead ringer for Bamba Gascoigne. With a squint. Hello. Who are you, menacing stranger?
I am death.
In an anorak?
Someone stole my cloak. Out of my Ford Anglia. I only stopped off the little chef for a pee.
Death doesn't drive a Ford Anglia.
This one does.
Well, not today, thank you.
It's not Avon calling. You can't not have death.
Can't I postpone it?
Postpone death?
I've given up drink, given up drugs. I'm leading a happy and contented life.
Well, what can I tell you? Death sucks. It's official. I can prove it using pie charts.
Oh, all right. I'd better get my coat.
Oh, no chance of a cup of tea, is there?
Tea?
And I could murder some spam.
You're deaf, you murder everything.
Well, there's no need to be personal.
Oh, come in and wipe your feet.
Do you have herbal?
What, herbal spam?
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
Yes, it's me again, Terry Jones, Mrs. I'm like a Greek chorus, except I'm not Greek, or a chorus. After our fourth film, The Meaning of Life, we never worked together again. Though we talked about it enough times. After Graham kicked the bucket, it didn't seem right, somehow. Monty Python, after all, is a six-headed beast. Anyway, Palin was always off up a mountain with a llama. Says he was making a travel documentary with it, but his wife got very suspicious. I mean, who takes a llama to the South Pole and Poland? Always flying it first class, letting it spit all over the VIP lounge at Heathrow, taking it to Vegas, sharing the honeymoon suite. Something funny is going on. That's all I'm saying. Will the Pythons ever work together again? Doubtful. It's just not the same without old Graham. Only 48 when he shuffled off. Still, they'll be laughing in heaven tonight.
If he gets his tadger out and dunks it in someone's gin and tonic anyway, like he did in his drinking days, always made me laugh. Mind you, I never drank gin and tonic. Who would? Graham Chapman? I've said it before, and I will say it again.
He was a very naughty boy!
Mrs. Attlee? No, Mrs. Mussolini, what were you thinking?
Whatever happened to the Monty Python team, Mrs. Hitler?
I remember what happened to the Monty Python team, Mrs. de Gaulle.
Oh, yeah, Mrs. Stalin!
Oh, yes! Eric Idle, the good-looking one. Oh, went on to make the underrated Rutland Weekend Television, the award-winning Beatles parody, The Ruttles, and wrote the worldwide smash that was the musical Spamalot.
So he did, despite the perm.
Terry Jones made the brilliant Ripping Yarns with international travel guru Michael Palin. Then realised there was no Vikings in it. So snapped into action and directed the film Eric the Viking.
I remember that one. Had Vikings in it.
Who knew? Then he wrote books on Vikings, made documentaries about Vikings, dressed as a Viking, was playing cricket, and finally claimed Jesus was a Viking. Whereupon he was put in a Greta Garbo retirement home for the slightly mentally deranged.
Terry Gilliam, despite being overwhelmingly American and overwhelmingly hairy, went on to direct such cult classics as Brazil,
Cult,
The Fisher King classic, Time Bandits, and 12 Monkeys.
John Cleese went on to make 40 Towers.
One of the great sitcoms of all time.
Which the BBC never repeat. More than 19 times a week.
Cleese also made 137,000 guest appearances on American sitcoms, 138,000 films, and still had the spare time to marry 3 different Americans.
Michael Palin became an international travel guru in between making films with the other Pythons. He's been around the world in 80 days.
Around the world with a bath sponge.
Been across the Sahara.
Over the Himalayas.
Under the Andes.
And walked sideways across Gateshead.
Naked, save for a dank towel.
It was my pipe killed me, of course. Not the booze. How ironic is that? It was my crutch, you see, for my shyness. I smoked it from my teenage years on. I got throat cancer from it, which then spread to my spine and... Good night, Vienna. Of course, as I was gay, they all said it was AIDS. Homophobia doesn't go away. It just lurks under the surface of society, waiting to pounce like a very cruel bear. I was proud to be gay. I was proud to conquer my alcoholism. I was proud to be a Python. I was proud to write with John. I was proud to play the lead in 2 of the funniest movies of all time. I enjoyed a full life and was loved by many. What more can a man ask? But enough of the moralising. This isn't the epilogue. Time to end on a song. Liza, hit me with a show tune, sweetie.
What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret.
No, we're not having that to finish. It's very camp and it's very silly. I'm warning you. Anyway, can't stop. Off to Cambridge for a footlights reunion. Ah, Cambridge. The dreaming spires, the hissing of summer lawns, the gondolas. Gondolas as far as the eye can see. I hate those gondolas. Time for a gondola cull.